Hello guys, good day, and I'm Robert T. Pangalayan, and my report is arrowroot crops. And let's discuss about arrowroot crops.
So the arrowroot and the scientific name Maranta arundinaceae. So arrowroot or Maranta arundinaceae is a perennial plant grown for its starchy underground stems or rhizomes. It's a good source of flour and is used in cooking and baking. So this is the arrowroot crops. So arrowroot or Maranta arundinaceae or uraro is widely cultivated in the Philippines for its starchy rhizomes. It is a low perennial herbaceous plant with thick, fishy, and creeping roots and long white fibers, and is a good source of flour. So arrowroot flour has a very high commercial value in the international market because it is best ingredients in making high quality biscuits and cookies. So the name is derived from uraro, also araro, or araro, aruro, or aruro. The Tagalog and Spanish common name of the Maranta arrowroot, Maranta arundinaceae, the source of the flour. So the history and origin of arrowroot crops. The arrowroot crops originated in South America, where indigenous peoples cultivated it for its medicinal properties. The name arrowroot is believed to come from the Arawak word aruro, meaning meal of meals, or from its use in treating wounds from poisoned arrows. So British colonizers introduced arrowroot to the Caribbean in the 18th century, using it as a substitute for wheat flour. It became increasingly popular in Europe during the 19th century. Used for infant food and other specialized products, arrowroot remains popular today as a gluten-free thickening agent in cooking and baking. So that is the history and origin of the arrowroot crops. And let's proceed to the botanical description of arrowroot crops. So arrowroot, scientifically known as Maranta arundinaceae, is a tropical perennial herb that thrives in warm, humid climates. It's known for its edible rhizomes, which are fleshy cylindrical underground stems. The plant grows to a height of 0.3 to 1.5 meters or 1 to 5 feet and has lanceolate spearhead shape. The leaves that are made green in color. Small white flowers bloom approximately 90 days after planting. And now, let's proceed to the soil requirements of arrowroot crops. So, arrowroot requires a friable, well-drained, loamy soil. However, soil at the foot of the hills and valley and newly opened areas are preferable. Clayey soil must be avoided since it induces poor rhizome development and usually causes the deformation of rhizome, which tends to break during harvesting. It is advisable to plant this crop in an open field provided there is sufficient moisture throughout its growing period. Planting in partially shaded areas can also be done, but with reduced yield of arrowroot crop. And let's talk about the climatic requirements of arrowroot. So arrowroot thrives in warm, humid climates similar to its native tropical regions of South America. Ideal temperatures range from 70 to 90 degree Fahrenheit or 21 to 32 degrees Celsius. While it can tolerate cooler weather, temperatures below 70 degree Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius can damage leaves and hinder growth. In colder climates, arrowroot is often grown as an annual. It also prefers partial shade to full shade, especially during hotter months. However, in cooler climates, it can tolerate more sunlight. So, arrowroot requires consistent moisture and is not drought tolerant. Therefore, well-drained, loamy soil that retains moisture is crucial for optimal growth of arrowroot crop. So, for cultural practices of arrowroot crops, here's a clear explanation of the cultural practices of arrowroot crops. So, A. Site selection. Choose a location with well-draining, fertile soil and a slightly acidic pH of 5.5 to 6.5. Ensure the area receives partial shade to full sun. So, and the B is land preparation. So, number 1, plow the land to a depth of 20 to 25 centimeter to loosen the soil. So number 2, harrow the land to break up clods and create a smooth surface. And the last one, number 3, is remove debris and weeds. So the letter C, seed bed preparation. So number 1, prepare rice beds with a height of 30 to 40 centimeter and a wide of 1 to 2 meters. So number 2, mix in organic matter like compost or manure to improve soil fertility. So let's proceed to the letter D, planting and transplanting. So number 1, plant arrowroot rhizomes 2 to 3 centimeter deep and 30 to 40 centimeter apart. So number 2, plant during the wet season or with the adequate irrigation. And the number 3 is transplant seedling 1 to 2 months after germination. So the letter E, thinning and replanting. So first, remove weak or damaged seedling to promote healthy growth. So second, replant gaps with new seedling to maintain optimal spacing. So the letter F for healing up. First, add soil around the base of the plant to promote tuber growth. And the second, healing up helps to increase yields and improve tuber quality. So let's proceed to letter G, which is the off-bearing. So number 1, remove lower leaves to promote healthy growth and prevent disease. And the second, off-bearing helps to improve air circulation and reduce moisture around plants. So the letter H, which is weed management. So first, regularly remove weeds to prevent competition for nutrient and water. So second, use manual or mechanical methods to control weeds. And the letter I is water management. So first, maintain consistent moisture levels, especially during the first 3 to 4 months after planting. And the number 2, irrigate plant regularly but avoid overwatering. So for letter G, fertilization. So first, apply organic fertilizers like compost or manure tea to improve soil fertility. So second, avoid using synthetic fertilizers which can damage the environment. So that is the fertilization. So the letter K, insect pest management. So first, monitor plant regularly for a sign of pests like aphids, whiteflies, and spider mites. So second, use integrated pest management or IPM methods like biological control, cultural control, and chemical control. And the last is letter L, which is disease management. So first, monitor plants regularly for signs of diseases like leaf spot, root rot, and tuber rot. So second, use IPM methods like crop rotations, sanitation, and fungicide to control disease. So that is the cultural practices of our arrowroot crop. So we are going to discuss the harvesting of arrowroot crop. So arrowroot crops are typically harvested after 10 to 12 months of growth when the leaves start to wilt and die back. Yes, this indicates that the plant has stored its nutrients in the rhizomes, which are edible part. So harvesting involves careful digging up the rhizome, taking care not to damage them. So the rhizomes are then cleaned and processed to extract the starch, which is used in various culinary and medicinal applications. So that would be our harvesting. For post-harvesting handling or operation of arrowroot crops, so arrowroot or Maranta arundinaceae is a tropical tuber crop that requires careful post-harvest handling to maintain its quality and extend its shelf life. Here are the post-harvest handling operations for arrowroot. So first, harvesting. Arrowroot tubers are typically harvested 10 to 12 months after planting when the leaves start to yellow and die back. So second, digging and lifting. Tubers are carefully dug up using a fork or spade, taking care not to damage the tubers. So the third one is sorting and grading. So tubers are sorted and graded according to size, shape, and quality. So the number 4 is washing. So tubers are washed to remove any dirt, debris, or bacteria that may be present on the surface. So number 5 is drying. Excess moisture is removed from the tubers using a drying process such as air drying or using a mechanical dryer. So the 6 is curing. Some arrowroot producers use a curing process to heal any wounds or scratches on the tubers, which helps to prevent rot and extend shelf life. And the number 7 is storage. Arrowroot tubers are typically stored in a cool, dry, well-ventilated area away from direct sunlight and moisture. So now, here is the nutrient content of arrowroot crops. So first, energy. Second, carbohydrates. And the third, fiber. And the fourth, protein. And the fifth, fat. And the sixth is vitamins C, B6, folate. And the last one is minerals, which is potassium, magnesium, iron, and zinc. For health benefits, here are the health benefits of arrowroot crops. So first, digestive health. High in fiber, arrowroot promotes regular bowel movements and prevent constipation. The second is gluten-free. Arrowroot is gluten-free, making it an excellent option for those with gluten intolerance or celiac disease. And the third is antioxidant properties. So arrowroot is rich in antioxidants. Arrowroot protects against cell damage, inflammation, and oxidative stress. So the fourth is immune system support. So arrowroot contains vitamins and minerals that support immune functions and prevent illness. And the fifth is blood sugar control. Arrowroot's fiber and antioxidants help regulate blood sugar levels and manage diabetes. So the sixth is heart health. The potassium content in arrowroot helps lower blood pressure, so reducing the risk of heart disease. And the seven, the last one, is anti-inflammatory. So arrowroot's antioxidants and polyphenols reduce inflammation, so alleviating symptoms of arthritis and other inflammatory conditions. So that is the health benefits of arrowroot crops. So now, here is the industrial product of arrowroot crops. So arrowroot powder is a great substitute for flour. It is gluten-free and grain-free. You can use it to make pancakes, cookies, and other delicious gluten-free treats. So arrowroot can also replace cornstarch. You can use it as a thickener for gravies, sauces, and stews. So the top producing region in the Philippines of arrowroot crops is Marinduque. This island province in the southern Tagalog region is known for its ideal climates and soil conditions, making it perfect for arrowroot cultivation. In fact, Marinduque has been producing arrowroot for decades, with the crop being a major source of income for local farmers. The province arrowroot cookies, made from the starchy rhizomes of the plant, are also a popular delicacy in the region. I have 4 examples of recipes for arrowroot crops. So first, milk arrowroot biscuits. Second, arrowroot cookies. Third, pancakes. And the last one is arrowroot halwa. For the varieties of arrowroot crops, there are 3 examples that I indicate. So first is the West Indian arrowroot. Second is Indian arrowroot, and the Queensland arrowroot. So that are the 3 some examples of arrowroot crops.
So that's all, and I hope you have learned something about arrowroot crops, and thank you for watching.